Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jose Cruz. You're listening to WS Radio and the Literacy for All radio show. Let's see. We have as our guest today for this segment the executive director and co-founder of Mind Treasures, Alex Mazloom. Alex, welcome to the show.
Morning, and thank you for having me.
I'm so glad that you're here because what you're doing is we have literacy. We talk about literacy in general, and then we have specific literacies, and you're dealing with one. I don't think we've had a guest to talk about financial literacy and what that means, and then what you're doing with your program. Now, you and I were just talking right before the show started about at least the days when I first met you, where we were introduced, but you've been doing your work since 2006.
That's correct.
Right, and so here you have your Mind Treasures program, the mission being to raise
philanthropic.
I love it. Okay, we'll talk about that generation through financial literacy and character development. This is financial literacy for families, for young people. Can you say for communities, for all of us?
For everybody. This is for everybody starting from a young age.
Very good. And what brought you to this? Because you started this from an idea, a seed, to where it is today. So here we are. I always tell people, we're in the future, Alex. It's 2019. Oh, my goodness. So 13 years later, here you are. How did this all start?
So the idea is my wife's. She's the co-founder of the program. And December of 2005, she came up with the idea that a lot of people are having financial challenges. And this started from the Baha'i community. She says, a lot of our members, it seems like they could help managing their funds and so forth. So we started with that idea. We looked through the Baha'i writings and put up a workshop and invited our friends and family to come over and see if there's even any interest in thing. The response was amazing. And from the get-go, we concentrated on the spiritual aspects of finances, not just the technical, which is the banking services, credit, and budgeting, and all of that
information, the content, yeah?
Exactly. It's like there's got to be more to that, more to finances than just the technical aspects of it. And then one of the participants, she used to work at UCSD. She said, if you can keep the spiritual foundation in there, but don't concentrate so much on the Baha'i writing, because we want to bring it into UCSD.
Right.
And that's where it started for the adults. My wife, she wanted to make everybody filthy rich, all the adults. That was her idea.
I want to hang out with her.
Yeah, exactly. And I told her, I'm not a motivational speaker. I can't do that. And we tried for 1 year for adults. And then that same year, 2006, is when our older son started kindergarten. And we saw a flyer coming home for after-hour programs for like Lego building, cooking, music, and things like that. So it's like, why don't we try this for younger generation? Let's see, is it appropriate to start teaching this at kindergarten and up? And I think we found our niche to be really starting at a young age. So that's where it kind of all started.
And you've referenced the Baha'i faith, and I know that it's not a faith-based organization, but let's say not just the intent, but the spirituality of it. Because what you emphasize is not just the financial aspects. You also are emphasizing, it's that word I can't use. I can't read
philanthropic.
But you're also emphasizing contributing to causes, saving and giving to charities. How does that all play in with this?
So this is what's happening to our society. Many of the challenges that we're seeing, not just financial illiteracy, but a lot of challenges we're seeing has a spiritual root, and it needs a spiritual solution. Because that's how we're different from, let's say, the nature, from the animals and all of that. We have a spirit. And that's what helps us progress through times. And that's, if you see an animal, they have never progressed. They're still doing the same thing that they used to do 100 years, 200 years ago. And by bringing that spirituality, we've been able to connect. As you said, it's not a faith-based organization, because what we talk about about, it is recorded in all the sacred books. It's recorded in the Bible. It's recorded in the writings of Buddha. The word treasure, which references to characteristics that we are all born with. Everyone has the potential to be loving, generous, patient. We all have that potential, but not everybody has developed those potentials. And that's what we start with in our program. And these are the characteristics and elements that play a role not only in our financial life, but also in all aspects of our lives.
So now we go back. This is just blown up in my face right now, Alex, because, yes, mind treasures, I just associate that with the work that you do. But it really means mind treasures, spiritual treasure, financial, and again, going back to the concept of saving to help, saving money to help others.
To help out. So here's the overall. When we look at us humans, in every stage of life, we are preparing for the next stage. When we are in the mother's womb, we are preparing for this world. We are developing limbs that we absolutely have no need for it in the mother's womb, except legs and arms to kick.
Oh, yeah?
But we get eyes, we get ears, we can hear, but we can't see anything in there. And the mother is constantly providing all the nutrients so the baby can concentrate on the development for the next stage. When we are born, we continue to do that. School, that's what we do. We don't use math at a young age, but we need to do that for adulthood. And then as adults, we're concentrating for our finances, we're concentrating on creating a safe and sound retirement. But then also throughout that life, part of our goal in life should be to develop the treasures that are needed for those who believe that our soul will continue to progress, which is, again, it's in all these sacred writings, that we need to have these characteristics not only for here, but also for the next life.
And I was just going to ask you about, because you also describe your organization as character building. And so you just used the words characteristics. So you fell right into that. You didn't even know that. And it makes sense. So characteristics, character. What have you, and I have to guess that part of what inspired you to do this is that you saw that maybe we're not doing enough in our community, our society to build character. I mean, who's doing that work? Who's making us conscious of people? And I know that we have other religions and such, but I think just in day-to-day living, maybe there's a tendency to forget, and especially when we've been challenged, that there are other people out there and that we have a responsibility to each other. So you build character into this. Can I describe that a little bit?
Exactly. So there is character education. There's a lot of programs to do character education, but that's just like doing our academics. We learn math, but we don't know how to apply it. Most times we don't learn how to apply that math, even from young age. Character development is the same thing. So an example, in our program starts with a 12-week series. Mainly right now we're doing it in elementary schools. And every session we start with a character trait, and then we have activity, and then at the end we give them allowances, play money. And they're supposed to split it between life necessities, food, water, clothing, shelter, put some for investing, for their future, for the college, share with others, and then save for something that they like to have. Now, we give them paper money as allowance. And let's talk about a couple of treasures that comes in picture here. So I'm supposed to give them $20. They count it, and I always ask them, what would you do if I by mistake, give you $21? Would you keep it or would you give it back? And there's kind of mixed reaction from the students.
Good conversation.
Yeah, some say, oh, I'll just keep it. And some say, no, I got to give it back. Then I say, well, this is paper money. I have no idea how much paper money I have in my bag. I just keep on printing more. So here it doesn't matter, but just imagine when you go shopping and the cashier gives you an extra $1 back. What would happen to that cashier at the end of the night? Will he or she get into trouble by a mistake that she didn't mean to make, but I noticed it? So I have to be honest at all times. So our society it's very easy to kind of think about, that extra $1, I just keep it.
Right.
It's okay. Nobody will know.
Yeah.
But we will know.
Yes.
And that is something, so that's character development. They understand that honesty, when we say honest, sometimes there are consequences for being honest, but then we have to be able to work ourselves to be honest and truthful at all times, not just when it's to our benefit.
Very good. Very good. Well, and then that's what, we talk about, there are those times when you have to make a decision where that character building comes into play or our character shows itself. Mm-hmm. And then understanding how other people are affected by some of the decisions that we make. You mentioned college, mm-hmm. and here's a whole other thing in there that, especially because I think you're focusing on low-income communities, you're putting dangerous, man. You're putting into the minds of these children that they can go to college and can save for that. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Well, our focus, it's not, so one of the things we're trying to change is to change the perception that's always been there of different communities. We never look at the community as just in their material mm-hmm. Possessions or resources. We are looking at communities that there are many resources, characters, talents, and resources are awaiting to be discovered and developed. Mm-hmm. Now, because of the funding that we receive from our sponsors, yes, we are generally in areas that financially, materially, they're still a little bit behind. Yeah. And I have thought about that thing I talk to them. By trade, I'm an engineer. I went to college for 5 years. I paid for my own college, mm-hmm. worked at a restaurant and paid for it. But then I do think about when we are talking to these kids that, they can go to college. Is that even realistic? But we got to give them that hope. And I think there are a lot of programs that allow those who cannot financially afford to enter college.
Got it. So there's so many aspects of what you're doing, Alex, and they're all fantastic. And just putting college into the minds of some of the young people in these communities is priceless. Hey, we're going to be back after break with Alex Mazloom from Mind Treasures. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. This is the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days?
What's that mean? Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/expressfunding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.
Life is full of misadventures, from car crashes to home fires to getting choked out on the mat. Yes, I said getting choked out because I'm Carlos Kramer, jiu-jitsu competitor, MMA and media personality, and mild-mannered insurance agent. You can follow my adventures on Kick-Ass Radio, and I can protect you from life's misadventures at Kramer Insurance. Home, auto, life, business, and workers' comp. We're at KramerINS.com, and I want you to join my world.
This is Bill Gruber with BizVid Communications, a Southern California video production leader. We've been honored to sponsor, produce, write, and host many of the fine programs on WS Radio over the years. So we understand how important the internet and your website exposure are. As video producers, we know the tricks and secrets to incorporate video to increase your search engine optimization and business success. Visit bizvidcommunications.com to see what we can do for you. BIZVID communications.com.
Too much to do? Not enough time to get it done? Call on the experts at Another 8 Hours for your business support needs. By partnering with Another 8 Hours, we allow you to focus on the more important matters, like being in front of your clients, doing what you do best, rather than being stuck at a desk poring over paperwork, rummaging through emails, returning phone calls, and struggling to get everything done by yourself. Meanwhile, your family and social life are going down the drain. Go to another8hours.com or call 8 more hours. That's 866-734-6877.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine?
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children, because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome back. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. This is the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, and we're talking to Alex Mazloom. He's the executive director and co-founder of Mind Treasures. Alex, one of the things I remember from it's had to have been a few years back because the president was Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton said that financial literacy was going to be, or was the cause of our time. What did he mean by that? That's quite a statement, that this particular aspect of literacy would have that much importance in the scheme of things.
I haven't heard that, but I totally believe it. And I dream a lot, and Bill and Harley have been in my dreams quite a few times.
Interesting. You better look up that quote, right?
Exactly, and kind of talking about financial literacy. Financial literacy is a global challenge, and it has no boundaries. It's not about neighborhoods that are developing. It's a disease. Financial illiteracy is a disease that's engulfing everybody. Even in the neighborhoods that they are doing materially and financially well, yes, they are making it, but they don't know what to do with it. Many of the parents who are affluent, they are worried that their kids have no idea what to do with the inheritance that they're going to gain. So it is a global challenge. And what's interesting, as over the break we were talking about, that our program is global now. A lot of times when we get requests from outside of the U.S., they say, we have this unique problem. We don't know how to manage our finances. Like, believe me, it's not a unique problem. Right. It's everywhere.
Right. So we have... we have abundance anyway, and I'm not just going to the spiritual aspect of things, but we also have a lot of money that's coming in and out, and as fast as it comes in, we spend it. You look at something, and I hear people talk about Amazon and how that has really changed the thing. In just a matter of seconds, you can order something. So now you're spending money getting the things that you want. We've created a culture of spending. We are a people who are consumers and conditioned to be that. How do you rein all that in? Because it's all of us, or most of us.
It is most of us. And unfortunately, it's starting from a very young age. Like when you and I were growing up, I did not have allowance. But then when we would go to buy grocery, we were not exposed to all these toys and things like that. Yeah. So these days, kids are pretty much right now, when they're born, a screen has been put in front of them just to keep them busy. I think the next generation, it will be implanted in their brain. So while we cannot isolate them from their environment, but we can give them the tools to be ready for this stuff. And this is a period, it's just like anything else throughout human history, that when a new invention comes along, we use it for all the wrong reasons. Look at atomic bomb, dynamite, and all of that. It took us a while to say, all right, this is the peaceful use of this. So we're kind of going through that with internet and online shopping too. And that's why it's so inherent to start at a young age, not in adulthood, not in high school. And that's why we are so happy that we are allowed to go into the classrooms here in San Diego and other parts of the world as early as grade 3. That's when we were starting the education.
And I want to talk about your work in other places, because you're a lot of great things start in San Diego. We're so proud of that. But I can just, I'm just thinking back as we're talking about all the things that we have now. There was a time when if you saw a penny, you would pick it up and you would be happy that you found a penny. And now it's like you look out there, there's pennies on the street. People don't pick them up. They don't have the value. So there's something that's happening with our understanding of the value of money and the things that we can do with it that aren't always necessarily about us and materialism and such. And we see what happens during Christmas time.
Exactly.
I mean, you're spending hundreds of dollars on. I remember, golly, let's talk about the good old days, right? just, if you got a little toy, you're happy with it, but hundreds, thousands of dollars spent on Christmas and such. And so this is kind of, it's a global community now. And so it's not just the United States. It's not just San Diego. You're doing work in other places because they're seeing the same things.
Exactly. So we started in San Diego for until it was like probably 2013 or so. We were just concentrating in San Diego, allowing the program to develop. But then through a generous grant from Google, it's a Google AdWords which is available for all nonprofits, we were able to start propagating our program around the world. And I was so amazed that we actually received a lot more requests from all around the world than U.S. So 4 years ago, someone from New Zealand, a mortgage company, approached us and they said, we would like to bring this in. We trained their staff over the internet, and their staff went into one school, did the program, the school loved it, and they have accomplished something that we have not even been able to do here in San Diego in the U.S. Is right now in San Diego, we send our trained staff, facilitators, to conduct programs. The schools are happy, they give us the time, teachers give us the time. In New Zealand last year, the school allocated 2 staff, which would train them, and they run the program on their own. And this year, just before starting school, they contact and say, are you going to continue the program with us? We're willing to go. So I told one of our facilitators, maybe this will happen in the next 50 years here in San Diego. I can only be hopeful.
Well, going back to 2006 and when we met, which had to be somewhere around 2008 or 9, I'm thinking, has Mind Treasures met your expectations, exceeded them? What's next? Are you happy where you've come so far?
So one of the things I have learned, and this goes back to the spiritual aspects of our lives, is we are inspired. That's the inspirations come to our spirit. And we come up with all kinds I'm sure you come up, everybody comes up with ideas. But I have learned to immediately detach myself, put my 200% into whatever idea comes to mind, whatever we need to do, whoever we need to talk to, but then immediately detach myself because I don't know if it's the right thing or not. There's been several programs, several kind of side projects of this that we've tried and it just hasn't worked. It's like, okay, we let it go. So I never set any expectations because I don't know what's right and what's not right. We started with after-hour programs, and I never thought, how are we going to bring this into during the day? I thought we would have to go through the district, through who's going to look at it and things like that. But then 2012, one of the principals allowed us to come during the day. And now nobody wants to go back after hours because we see a lot more. And the curriculum and the program continues to evolve and ideas come up. So we just kind of go. Once people ask me, where do you see this thing in 5 years? Like, I have no idea.
Right. I think that's a great approach. I mean, it's very much about what are the opportunities in front of you, what's happening right now, living day to day and taking advantage of the opportunities that come before you and not believing so much that, things happen by accident. Here we are. This, as you have said, things progress, they move on and continuing to grow and evolve and such. And so, so much of that, Alex, and I'll tell you that now, is not just the content and all the aspects of it. Now, when I met you, I was just, man, I like this guy. He's the right face, the right voice for this cause, and I think a lot of people saw that coming out. And so the Mind Treasures being what it is, because it doesn't belong to anybody, but to have you as a face and voice, I think has been part of what's keeping this thing moving forward. I want folks to be able to get in touch with you if they want to know more about Mind Treasures and maybe how they can get involved. How does that happen?
So the best thing to do is go on our website, which is mindtreasures.com or .org. And it has an S, Mind Treasures with an S at the end. There are videos on there of how the program runs, and also most important is the short testimonial from the students that we work with. Every term, we collect those testimonials. There are people that can volunteer. Right now, we are in a 12-week series, which is about halfway through it. But we're always looking for volunteers to come into the classroom with us, and everything is on the website is the best place.
Very good. And we didn't get to talk much about some of the case stories, your favorite stories, et cetera. So maybe you'll join us again in the future?
Absolutely. I'm at your service.
Very good.
So I'm here whenever you need us, and that's what we talk about.
Very good. So glad to have you, Alex. And Mind Treasures, they'll be back for a future show. I'm Jose Cruz. This is Literacy for All Radio, and we're on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
In the military, things can change in an instant. Your personal life is just the same. Just like you protect our country, you want your family protected. That's why thousands of military members trust Navy Mutual Life Insurance. Navy Mutual is nonprofit, providing current and former Navy, Marine, and Coast Guard families with life insurance, no sales fees, and no military service restrictions. Protecting members on active duty and beyond. Call 1-800-628-6011. 800-628-6011. NavyMutual.org. Insuring those who serve.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days?
What's that mean? Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/express funding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. MOZEguitars.com, 619-698-1185.